Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm Amanda Tarullo, and I'm in psychological and brain sciences. And as Peter Ruckers was saying, it's just so nice to see folks that I've been seeing on a tiny box on a screen for the past year and a half. I'm going to be talking today about sleep problems and biological stress in early childhood. So childhood sleep problems are very common. About a third of young children have childhood sleep problems. And when they persist, they are far from harmless. Children with early sleep problems are more likely to have impaired brain development, to have poorer physical and mental health, and to have poorer academic performance in the long term. Sleep problems and behavior problems are also closely linked. The parents in this room do not need me to tell you that children who did not sleep well are really hard to manage the next day behaviorally. And then there's a vicious cycle where children who are acting out won't go to sleep, right? And then now they're more tired and now there's more behavior problems. So really, sleep problems can set kids on a trajectory for a cascading effects on a lot of areas of development. And in that sense, they may be a key mechanism through which early poverty, which increases the risk of sleep problems, can lead to socioeconomic health disparities and achievement gaps. So I've become very interested in trying to address sleep problems in early childhood. One of the things that we've been looking at in my lab is the links between sleep problems and biological stress. So sleep and biological stress both develop dramatically in the first 12 months of life. Babies, when they're born, have no circadian rhythm for sleep. They also have no circadian rhythm for cortisol, for their stress hormones. And both of those circadian rhythms emerge by 12 months of age. So we've been interested in understanding are sleep and biological stress linked in infancy? This is work led by Megan Flom. And what we found was that if you look at this graph here, the y-axis is cortisol and the blue line is babies who get enough sleep at night. And you see that they have a high waking cortisol and then it drops steeply across the day, which is a healthy rhythm. Conversely, babies who don't get enough sleep at night, that's the red line, they have a flattened rhythm, right? The circadian rhythm is blunted, and this is an indication of dysregulation. So sleep and cortisol are tied together, but that really doesn't tell us what's causing what. And so my student Tarullo did a study trying to look at the directionality. So she collected several days of sleep data using actigraphy and had the parents sample the baby's saliva across the day to get at cortisol. And what she found was that if you had higher cortisol during the day cumulatively, then you would get fewer hours of sleep that night, these babies. And similarly, if they had higher levels of cortisol at bedtime, that same night they would fall asleep later, right? So that cortisol during the day predicted nighttime sleep that night. But the reverse was not true. So how well you sleep does not predict the next day's cortisol for babies. And so this suggests that biological stress may be driving sleep problems in infancy or contributing to the emergence of sleep problems in infancy. So in terms of what my lab is doing now, we are now looking to try to clinically address sleep problems in early childhood. And so this is Parents Advancing Toddler Health, the PATH, a randomized clinical trial funded by NICHD, and it's a multi-site study with the University of Denver. We're recruiting 500 toddlers who have both sleep and behavior problems and are in households experiencing low income. And our goal is to compare parent coaching programs to figure out what works best for families experiencing low income, both to engage families, because there's a lot of logistical and stigma barriers to engagement, and then also to improve child outcomes and hopefully also to improve levels of stress within the family. So to try to address that whole dynamic of the interplay of family and child stress with sleep and behavior. So we just started enrolling in the spring and we'll be continuing to enroll over the next several years. So please stay tuned for those results, and thank you very much.